Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, good morning.
Oh, so you can hear me well?
Yes.
Okay. We will be beginning shortly. We are just giving others time to join us. So in the next 10 or 15 minutes, we will be beginning our session. So I know I have seen people on the chat saying that they can't hear anything. We are around and we will be beginning shortly. Thank you for joining us for this stakeholder engagement meeting. It is a meeting between the Human Resource Management Professional Examinations Board and the CHRP students, the ongoing, the ones who are active and the dormant ones. We want to train all of you on how to book examinations and other details about HRM So you're all welcome. Let's just give others like 10 minutes to join, then we can begin our session. Thank you.
Yes. Mambo boss, nzuri sana.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. I hope your morning is well. We will be beginning in the next 10 or so minutes. So you're welcome to this stakeholder engagement meeting. We are the Human Resource Management Professional Examinations Board, and our main mandate is to develop curricula to examine and certify the HR professionals. And today we will be taking all the CHRP students through the training on how to book exams and how to be exempted and to register. So you are all welcome in this meeting. So if you hear I'm not speaking in the next like 5 to 10 minutes, that's when we will be beginning. We appreciate all those who've entered the meeting. I can see more than 60 people are in here. Let's just wait for that more people, then we will officially begin at 10 a.m. Thank you so much, and we appreciate our stakeholders and our students. You make us to be who we are. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're good and you're doing well. This is the CHRP Students webinar that we are about to start now. And I'll request the host to just put us to put the program here so that I can take you quickly through the program, then we begin. But you're all welcome in the meeting, and we are hoping to have a very good engagement with all the CHRP students and take you through our program. Thank you so much and welcome. Good morning, everyone. We are now on, and this meeting is CHRP Students webinar, and we will be taking our students through a bit of training on how they can register. So this is our program today, and as you can see, CHRP Students webinar to be held today at 10 a.m. So we will start with an opening prayer from Mr. Luke Masinde, who is the Principal Test Development. I am Lorena Seka and I'll be your MC today. I'll do the introductions. Then at 10:15, there'll be opening remarks from the CEO, who is CHRP Nicholas Kanisa. After that, please, George, you can scroll down. Then after that, there'll be a sensitization of HRM revised CHRP curriculum. We'll take you through the CHRP units, the entry requirements, the exemption award, which will be done by our manager test development. Then we will also have the student support services, that is the LMS, the e-library, and the formative assessment, which will be done by our senior ICT officer, Frederick Laiboni. Then after that, we will have an online CHRP registration and exemption process training and online self-examination booking training by Mr. Alex Ondieki. Then after that, we will have the complaint handling mechanism, which will be taken through by the planning and strategy officer, Mr. Geoffrey Nyakwara. Then a bit of plenary session, which will be led by the MC, and the closing remarks by Ms. Betty Odera, the Quality Assurance and Accreditation Officer, then the closing prayer from a volunteer student. So we will try and make the program to be very fast so that we do not take a lot of time for our students. We know you're busy, but we thank you for making time for us and coming for this meeting. We are hoping to have a very good engagement with all of you and be able to see to ensure that all the issues that you have been solved. Thank you for coming, and we will start immediately by an opening prayer by Mr. Luke Masinde. Mr. Luke, kindly, if you can unmute yourself and pray, we will appreciate.
Thank you, Corporate Communication Officer, Laureen Aseka. Shall we all pray? Our Father, in the name of Jesus Christ, we thank you for this morning, for your faithfulness endure forever. There is none like you, Jehovah God. Thank you, Abba Father. We declare according to your word that a house is built by wisdom. Through understanding is established, and through knowledge its rooms are filled with precious things. We declare that, Lord, as an institution, Lord, we shall be built by wisdom, we shall be established by understanding, and through knowledge we shall reach out to everyone. We honor you, Jehovah, through this meeting. We pray that, God, you take us through successfully. For this we pray, trusting and believing, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Luke, for that powerful prayer. So we will do the introductions, and I'll start with the members of the Secretariat. So if you're here and you're a member of HRMPEB Secretariat, kindly go introduce yourself and tell us your name and your designation. For the students, because as I can see now, there are almost 150 students. That is a huge number. What we can do is kindly introduce yourself on the chat. Tell us your name. Tell us whether you are a continuing student, you're a dormant student, or you are a prospective student. Also tell us whether you are an institutional-based student or a private candidate. Kindly just do that on the email, on the chat box. We will appreciate. So as the students do that, for all the other Secretariat members, you are welcome to introduce yourselves. Thank you, and I'll start by myself. My name is Laureen Aseka, and as I've said, I'll be the MC for today, but my designation at HRMPEB is Corporate Communication Officer, and I handle the public relations in the organization. You are all welcome. Others, kindly unmute yourselves, and you can also tell us your names. Hello, is anyone there? Kindly,
Yes.
the Secretariat.
Good morning, all.
We are waiting for you.
My name is Geoffrey Nyakwara from Strategy and Planning Department.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Frederick Leboni from ICT.
Good morning. My name is Leonard Korir, Senior Accountant.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Leonard Kirago. I'm the head of the Examination Administration.
Good morning. My name is Luke Masinde, Principal Test Development Officer.
Thank you so much, our Secretariat. Thank you for the work that you do. So
For the others, I've said we keep on, for the students kindly, we keep on introducing ourselves on the chat box. Kindly write your name. Tell us if you're a prospective continuing student or or a dormant student. Also tell us if you're a private candidate or you are a institutional-based candidate. We will appreciate to have this data with us. So kindly keep on introducing yourselves on the chat box. So we will move on. Kindly just a minute. Let me consult if the CEO has entered the group. And kindly, George, you can bring down the program. Kindly, George, you can bring down the program. Let's just give me 2 minutes to consult whether the CEO is here, then we can take over. Hello, thank you everyone for waiting just a little bit. I've confirmed, so we are going to have our first, the sensitization of HRMP revised CHRP curriculum by Mr. Luke, who is stepping in for the manager test development, Margaret Wu. So Mr. Luke, kindly could you share your screen and take us through the CHRP, what is CHRP and everything, so that the prospective students that are here can understand what it is actually, and they can know how to register, what are the requirements, how everything is done. So welcome, Mr. Luke. Thank you so much.
Wow. Yes, good morning once again. As I had previously introduced myself, my name is Luke Masinde, Principal Test Development Officer. I'm standing in on behalf of the Manager Test Development, who is CHRP, Margaret Gu. I want to take you through the revised CHRP curriculum. In the first place, this prestigious award called CHRP means Certified Human Resource.
Look.
Yes.
You can hear me, sorry. The CEO is now here.
Sorry.
We'll just bring it down so that we can allow him to give his comment. So you can bring down the presentation, kindly. You can bring down the presentation, Mr. Luke. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Luke. Welcome our Chief Executive Officer, our CEO CHRP, Nicholas Kanisa is here with us, and he will be making some opening remarks on behalf of the Human Resource Management Professional Examination Board, and he will give us some highlights on the emerging issues at HRMP, and a bit of the fees realignment, private candidate, and he'll be talking about everything to do with the organization. So CEO CHRP Nicholas Kanisa, FIHRM, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lorraine. I hope you're able to see me.
Yes, CEO, we're able to see you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, our students and stakeholders. Karibu sana. We value you as an organization, and we look forward to continuous engagement. Ask us questions. Give us suggestions what you think we should proceed with. This should be my first engagement with the students. Like you've been told, like you always know, I'm Nicholas Kanisa. I am the team leader. I prefer being called a team leader. I have a wonderful team with which we work very closely to make sure that we execute our mandate to the expectations of law and to the expectations of our stakeholders. Karibu sana. I'll be very brief. I came in as CEO. That was on 10th of July 2023. And I found a very nice team with which we are crafting a vision. We are crafting a strategy for this organization. So since then, we have made some strides and very good strides. And like, for example, we have implemented the phase 1 of the ERP, that is Enterprise Resource Planning software. And the purpose of this is to simplify and automate our examination and finance systems so that then we are able to give quality service to our stakeholders, that is students, your parents and guardians, and all the other stakeholders. So the ERP has been able to streamline the fees payment, fees collection, issues of procurement, issues of financial management, issues of generally the administration of revenue. Then we also have the examination management system, which is also being implemented at the tail end. You remember those who've sat examination, you are able to the results via ERP, the student portal, and that one has been made possible because of the ERP. Kindly, you can mute those who are not talking, kindly. Another highlight.
Kindly CEO, we cannot hear you. Kindly unmute.
Okay, you're able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you very well now. You can go on. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on like supervision of a project for private candidates, it was quite a challenge. So the framework we have is, as an examination body, we have engaged supervisors. We will engage supervisors who are able to take our students through the process of project management and project execution. And we have introduced a small fee because you realize these are contracted professionals, the supervisors. We will be getting them from, they will be, these are contracted professionals. We'll get them over a small period of time, and there is a financial implication. So that one we have reviewed, and we have made it 15,500. That is for private candidates, so that then we are able to engage high quality supervisors who are able to add value and guide our students in project management, in project arrangement. Another highlight, because of the ERP, we have advised our students that fees, any fee which is due to HRMPEP, It's paid directly to HRMPEB accounts. We are trying to integrate because, as you realize, we are a state corporation, and there is communication that we integrate our payment system to 222 and also upload our services to the e-citizen. We are at the tail end of doing that, and it's possible and it's mandatory that all fees due to HRMPEB should be paid directly to HRMPEB. On private candidature, this one was brought as a result of the vision for government, that is, it is in the Constitution of Kenya, on access to education and training opportunities to all citizens. It's also in the UN Charter on the same, access to information, access to education and training opportunities. And that is why from the push of government, the government made it clear that our education and examination should be open to all students. That is why as a board, we opened up the examination space to private candidates so that unlike in the future, unlike in the past where you had to go through a training institution, we are looking into the future where even if you wanted to go through a training institution, you may not have the time, either because of location of where you are, because I remember when I was doing CHRP, by then I was in Central Pokot, and Central Pokot, the nearest training institution was in Eldoret. So I used to come on Friday, spend in Eldoret, then I attend my classes in Kim, Eldoret on Saturday and on Sunday, and then I go back. It was quite a challenge because my colleagues were not able to. So that is why this private candidature opened up the space that you need not go through a training institution. If you think you have the discipline to study on your own, then you are able to register for examination, and then we are able to guide you as you proceed so that then you are able to complete and you are not disadvantaged, just you get the same value like the student who went through a training institution. So the essence of private candidature, it was to address the geographical reasons why you're not able to attend a training institution, and also the convenience, because sometimes we work in some funny places, some funny employers, they will not give you time to study. Sometimes they may not even facilitate you to go to training. But you see, personal development and professional development is a personal decision. So it's a decision you have to make as a person so that then you are able to progress, because life is not static. We are looking new skills, new opportunities. We have new skills to be obtained. So it's upon you as an individual to take charge of your professional life. And that was the essence. You can all see that even in the university education, the government the other day introduced Open University. Open University, it is the same concept as what we are having, so that then you are not able to go through a university in the old sense of what we knew. So you can see that even in mainstream government, the idea of private candidature is taking root. So that was the essence of us also responding to the need and the government direction that we open up the professional space for training and examination. So for us, it's examinations, and that is why we established that window. On student support, you will agree that especially for private candidates, there is a lot of support these private candidates need. And that is why, as an examination body, we introduced a small fee for private candidates. And the essence of this small private candidates admin fee is to help us establish a dedicated desk, so that then you are able to be attended properly, you are able to be assisted, then you are also able to be guided, because you see, this is a professional examination body, and there are issues which may not be very clear, in which you may want to have a one-on-one engagement. That's why we felt that let's get some resources, so that then we are able to establish that student support for private candidates and also for institutional. Now, the institutional students, for us as an examination body, we look at students irrespective of the avenue you are coming in from. Either you are coming in through a college or through a training institution or as a private candidate. So for us, we look at you as students, and that is why we want to have a level playing field, so that all students get the same support, so that then, because you are subjected to the same examination, so it's only fair that whatever each student gets, irrespective of whether you are from an institution or you are a private candidate, you get the same quality. And still on student support, we have a learning management system, which we are soon unveiling. And this student learning management system will be able to assist our students. That's what I'm saying. For us, it is, you are all our children. You are all our students, and we don't want any student to be disadvantaged, irrespective of the way they came in. So that student management, learning management system is for all our students. We are also integrating that learning management system with an online library. We are finalizing our arrangement with a consortium of universities, local and international, and we have a repository of thousands and thousands of books. So we are able to isolate what is relevant for our students. But you see, in education, you don't limit yourself. You can study anything you want, so that then you are able to have a wider scope and a wider view of life. So we are integrating the online library, so that all our students are able to access all the materials they need, all the research papers, all the academic repository that is required. So by and large, HRMPEP is, we are improving day by day, because you see, each organization, you are supposed to be flexible, you are supposed to listen to your stakeholders. And for us, the greatest stakeholders are our students, because we are the purpose that which we exist. Kindly, if we are not presenting, you mute, kindly. So for us, we hold you in high esteem. We have a complaint mechanism. If you feel there are areas we need to improve, kindly through our email on complaints, make us aware. Because you see, just like for those of you who are parents, sometimes you may not know what your children are doing. So you go back in the evening and you are told your child did this, your child did this. So unless you are told, you may not know. So for us, kindly give us the feedback, tell us how you think we should improve, so that at the end of it all, this is an organization for you. It is your own professional examination body. So let's create an institution that which would all be proud of, so that when you look back, the qualification you have, be it a diploma, be it a certificate, be it a CHRP, you say this is a paper from a credible organization. This is a paper in which we are all pleased. So kindly join us as we rebuild this organization. Give us the feedback. Give us the suggestions which you think we should build on. So for me, I'll wrap it up. I'm rushing to another meeting. There is a meeting by Public Service Commission on values and principles of the Constitution. So as you proceed, I wish you the best. We are open to you and also be open to us. Let's learn this journey together. Thank you. God bless you. God keep you. Back to you, Lauren.
Thank you so much, CEO, for your remarks. Just to go through what the CEO has said. He said professional development is key. There's some bit of fee realignment, which is with the changing times, and we will support our students. We are committed to supporting our students and also the private candidates. And just the last thing, he has insisted that we can give feedback through our channels, and we will be putting the channels on the chat box. So anyone who wants to reach us can reach us through all those channels. Thank you, CEO. We appreciate your leadership, and thank you for steering HRMPEP to another level. So next on our program is Mr. Luke Masinde, who is stepping in for the manager test development, Mr. Margaret Ngu, and he'll be taking us a bit through the revised CHRP curriculum and the units and the requirements. Mr. Luke, I will kindly ask you to present, put the presentation on, but for our students, we want to appreciate you. We can see your comments on the chat box, and for all those who've been supporting what the CEO has said, we appreciate so much. So thank you so much. And Mr. Luke, kindly present. You're welcome. Mr. Luke, we are not able to hear you. Kindly, you can unmute and you can talk. Thank you. As at now, we are at 263 students. Thank you so much for all those who've created time to come and hear about the CHRP student webinar. So, Mr. Luke, kindly unmute. We can't hear you.
All right, I think I'm unmuted. Good morning once again. I want to take you through the CHRP revised curriculum. CHRP revised curriculum was commenced in July 2022. We did our first examination in November-December series of 2022. This curriculum is the game changer in the region and globally. It is such a well-developed curriculum. It was done by a serious research from the industries and is a combination of what is needed in the industry and in the academia. And so everyone that has studied HR academically, even up to PhD, still requires this because there are levels of competences that are given here that are so good. What we had in mind when we were developing this, we wanted to have three major things. Number one, we wanted to ensure that every HR will be competent enough. As you know, our motto says enhancing HR competency. Number two, we wanted all the HRs to have the right knowledge, their current knowledge. HR has been growing with time. And finally, we wanted to have effective job performance. And so whether you are in public or you are in private, whether you are in Kenya or outside Kenya, this is a game changer in the HR space. There are great things that are in this curriculum, as I will be taking you through. And our curriculum is established in 3 parts. We have part 1, part 2, and part 3. At every part, there are 3 units, except at part 3, where we have 4 units. In section 1, as I take you through, we have a unit called Human Resource Management. We have Business Law, Accounting and Financial Management. Section 2, which is still part 1, Organizational Theory and Behavior, Employee Resourcing, Human Resource Management, Information Systems. Now, in part 2, we have section 3 and section 4. In section 3, we have compensation and reward management, employee relations and labor laws, human resource development, and in section 4, we have performance management and productivity, coaching, mentoring, and counseling, research methods for human resource practitioners. In part 3, we have section 5 and section 6. In section 5, we have organizational development and transformation, strategic management for HR practitioners, human resource accounting, metrics, and analytics. In section 6, we have human resource consultancy and advisory, human resource audit, strategic leadership, ethics, and governance, and finally, industry-based project. So those are the units that we are having in our curriculum. And as you can see, there are places like in section 3, where we, from the old curriculum, employee relations was a different unit from labor laws. And so the two are put together. This is an enhanced curriculum that if you do or you study, you really have an advantage. And so what are the requirements for you to get this prestigious award, CHRP, Certified Human Resource Professional? We have put it as per the KNQA. You can begin even without going to do a degree or a diploma, so long as you have a minimum KCSE grade of C+. You can also join if you have a diploma in any business-related course from a recognized examination body or institution. You have or if you have a bachelor's degree from a recognized university or an equivalent qualification by the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, KNQA. We are targeting school leavers. You could be here and maybe you have somebody who's had a C+ and wants to join the HR space. They can begin this course. You have somebody who has done a diploma and is your friend, you can tell them to begin this course. You have somebody who has done a degree or is practicing in HR and is not certified, or will request that you can pass this message to them, that they can also have this advantage. As you have seen on the job market, and among the professional requirements on every advert that is coming up, because it is enshrined in the law, is you must have this prestigious award, CHRP. We do our exams twice in a year, which is an advantage for you, that you can take the exams either in June, July series, or you can have it in November, December, or you can do both. You can start, if you have many units, you can begin and do an exam in June, and then do the following, do the next series in November, and you can move to the third series in June the following year, and by the last December, you are already done with our curriculum. As you have seen, the old curriculum had 22 units, which was a bit longer, and this one has a maximum of 19 units, 18 of which are examinable. Let me talk about exemption. Now, exemption, there is a policy that guides us on exemption, and when you apply for exemption, it's not automatic that you'll be entitled to the exemption. We look at the curriculum and what you have done, but we also have a policy that regulates us from the Kenya National Qualification Authority. We cannot award you a certificate and certify you by exempting you a lot of percentage. The maximum percentage we can give you is at 49%. That means that even if you have the highest qualification, you still need to do part 3, section 5, and section 6. And you realize that at this section, we have very unique units. For example, the HR audit, which is such a good unit that you must be able to learn, so that we can actually, when we talk about you as being our graduate, we must be able to say, you know, HR audit. There is HR consultancy and advisory. There is the strategic leadership and ethics and governance. There is the human resource accounting, metrics, and analytics. These are very good units, and I know when you do the exemptions, you find that at that section, part 3, I mean, at part 3, section 5 and section 6, you may be required to do these units. So HR shall award exemptions on paper-by-paper basis. Yes, the holders of degrees, diplomas, professional courses, qualification recognized by HR and PEB may apply for exemptions from an examination in a specific unit of competence. So it's up to you to look at the curriculum and say you are applying for this unit and this unit. And is something you do online. I believe the examination department will be able to take you through that. Thank you so much for your time. This process and be awarded this prestigious award. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the principal. We appreciate you. And we have 19 subjects in the new curriculum, and we have 22 in the old curriculum. So if you're in the old curriculum, kindly do fast and finish, because we'll be having a transition. And for the new curriculum, kindly, there's only 49% of exemptions, meaning out of the 19 subjects, only 9 can be given exemptions. Also, he has reiterated on the entry requirements. If you want to be a student of HRMPEB, you need to have a C+, a degree, or any other qualifications as determined by the KNQA. And he has given also us the rundown of the subjects, the 19 subjects. And it is good to note that part 1 and part 2 are the ones who are examinable, but only 49%. Part 3 is compulsory for each and every student. So thank you so much, Principal Test Development Officer. And just to remind our students, we will be having our June 2024 examinations on 12th June 2024 to 19th June 2024. So kindly make plans to book exams, and we will have a full training on exam booking. So the next person to speak is Frederick Laiboni. Kindly unmute yourself and you can present. He'll be speaking about the LMS, e-library, and the formative assessment. Thank you so much, and welcome, Laiboni.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So I want to take you through our candidate support resource center. I don't call it a learning management system per se, because there are quite a number of things that we're going to discuss in this. So this is the innovation that the CEO was talking about. We have created this platform to enhance our candidates' preparedness, all our candidates' preparedness in regards to the examinations processes. So in this platform, we will be integrating various curriculum support initiatives. We have packaged a study pack or a study guide that is going to help you in your revision activities. As well, we have integrated this into a platform that will enable you as students to interact in between yourselves on various aspects of the courses that you will be undertaking. As well, this is a platform, or this online platform is the same platform that we will be using to administer our formative assessments, that is the CATs. We are required by the regulator, that is the Kenya National Qualifications Authority, to administer formative assessments to assess you formatively and how you have mastered the coursework as you go on in your study and as you prepare to undertake your examinations. So assessment going forward is going to be divided from June. Is divided into 2 parts. We have formative assessment, or what you can, in maybe very simple terms, consider to be almost equivalent to what you used to do in colleges or in schools as continuous assessment tests. So we will have a quiz or an exam that you will do, and that exam will contribute to 20% of the total marks that you will garner, or the grade that you'll be able to get at the end of the session. Whether it will also determine whether you'll be cleared to sit for examinations or not, because formative assessment is actually mandatory, and for you to register for examinations in the coming series, you will require, for you to be cleared, not to register, you can register, but for you to be cleared for examinations, you'll be required to submit the formative assessment. So I want to just log into a student account, and I want to take you through the feel of this platform. We will be rolling it out to you and also providing further documentation and further information on how you can be able to access it, even as we plan to open the registration portal in the next few days.
Bwana, to enlarge this Zoom so that we can.
You cannot see the screen. Is everyone also having similar challenges as her?
We can see, we can see.
Please proceed.
Maybe she has difficulties with the device.
Let her log in
I
again.
think it can be enlarged a little bit.
It's good you zoom for a little bit. Yes, we are experiencing the same challenges. Please.
Laiboni, kindly, you can zoom in so that they can see very well. They are having challenges. Yes, can you see kindly?
Much better, much better. Much better.
No, that is what we meant.
It's okay. All right, let's proceed. So I will just log in into a student's account, and I want to take you through how this platform works and how you'll be able to use it in your preparedness. So I have borrowed Alex Odieki's account, who is a student, and I've loaded some courses into his account. So let me log in here. So to log in, of course, you need to have registered with us, and then you will be supplied with a login ID and a password. This will be sent to your email, and you'll be able to access them. So you need to have a login ID, which ideally will be either your HS number or your email address, and a password that authenticates that login ID. Then you simply click login. And after you log in, you will come to this page. For those of us who have interacted with learning management systems before, you may maybe be able to relate to this interface. Once you log in, of course, you'll be able to see the courses that you enrolled with. These cards that you can see here are various courses that this candidate is enrolled to. You will be able to access revision content from this platform. You'll be able to access your assessment content from this platform. So you have included in each and every course various materials that is aimed at supporting you as you revise for your examinations. Please note that this material is mostly in text format. Also, we'll be including others in multimedia format as we continue to enhance on our revision content. And basing also on the CEO's sentiment earlier, we will be interacting this with the e-library mechanism. We have signed up to the consortium, and this consortium has provided us with more than 30,000 databases that have got various learning content that we will interact with your revision content. But before I go into a course, I want to take you through basically how you can navigate this course on this platform. Sorry, on the left side you have this primary navigation menu here. This is the home tab. It usually takes you to the home page. Then the account. If you want to manage your account, you just say click on account. You can manage aspects of notifications. If you have some files that you want to store here, you can be able to upload them. If you have portfolios that you want to upload them, you can be able to upload. If you want to view global announcements that have been made, you can be able to see them under here. If you want to maybe make some settings into your account, update your email addresses, add other contact information, change passwords, and so on and so forth, you can be able to use this platform. The next menu here is a dashboard. This takes you back to the home page or the index page that basically shows you a graphical view of the courses that you are enrolled to. If you want to see courses that you have taken and ones that you've not taken, you can be able to see them here. And if you click on all courses, you'll be able to see the current courses that you are taking and at which term, how you enrolled, whether it has been published or not. If maybe there are some activities that have been scheduled, you can be able to see them here in the calendar, and you can be able to track and plan your time accordingly. Let's say that amongst yourselves as students, you've planned maybe for a discussion forum and so on and so forth. That can be uploaded in here. If you want to communicate, you can use this inbox to send messages or emails in between or amongst yourselves from inside the learning management system. The last one is the help menu. If you want to access any help, we will populate all our help, our knowledge base here at the help, and you can be able to access any assistance that you may need. Okay, so let me just sample one of the courses that we have here, like this Introduction to Human Resource Management. And I want to take you through how...
Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me, I'd like to say...
Yes.
Once you increase the screen...
Yes.
We can't see where you are clicking. Perhaps you need to take it back to where it was.
Kindly ensure that
we can't see the whole screen.
Laiboni.
Yes. Are you using a phone?
Let the students be advised if that you are using the phone, it is the size of the screen that will affect how you are able to view. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, most of us actually for
your
using
phone
can see.
look like a landscape.
Landscape mode, please. Landscape mode. We are seeing everything.
Please put your phone on landscape mode. You'll be able to see it better. However, we will be able to. We are recording this and we will publish it online, and you can be able to review it at your own time.
John.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Niskanie hapa hii inafanya.
Okay, kindly maintain your mics mute. We can hear some of your business. Someone is talking about some scan. Okay, let's go on. So basically, as I was saying, is that once you log in, you will be able to see the courses that you enroll into. To access the content or to access the revision material, simply click on any of the card or the content that you want.
Kindly, if you're not speaking, can you mute? Kindly, if you're not speaking, can you mute so that we can give our presenter an easy time? Thank you.
Thank
and
you.
those who are using the phone, you've been advised to put it as landscape so that it's easier for you.
Thank you, MC. So to see the content that you have, you will be able to open the unit, and all the outcomes in that course will be loaded here. For example, we'll start, this is a course called Introduction to Human Resource Management, CHRP 01, Introduction to Human Resource Management. And for me to see the content, I can open maybe unit description. And this gives me the descriptions and the learning outcomes that are supposed to be covered in this course. Of course, I'll read. You can plan your own time. You can read and attend to this content at your own time, at your own pace, okay? Whether you are based or you are attached to a training institution, or whether you are a private candidate, this resource is available for you to utilize, and it will help you as you prepare for your examinations. So basically, this is a study guide now for Introduction to Human Resource Management. And it starts by picking a learning outcome in the curriculum. And then we have given some snippets of what we expect you to achieve in relation to that particular coursework. On top of that, we give you some questions or possible questions in a forum that you have to contribute to, a discussion forum basically, and I'll come to that. Let me go back to home so that I can be able to take you through. If I can pick this, for example, here we have the content on Introduction to Human Resource Management. And then on top of that, we have these discussions. These are, we're calling interactive revision activity. And what this contains is a revision kit, basically, that comprises of possible or sample of questions that you might get asked in relation to that specific outcome. We've stamped these questions and we've integrated them into the content so that now as you read, you gauge yourself and see if you can actually be able to answer the questions or you solve the problems that we have put in here, and you gauge your level of preparedness to sit for the examinations when they are offered. Lastly, for every outcome, we give you references for further reading. And these references for further reading, like if I can pick this one, are materials that have been published by authorities, by others who are HR professionals, and these are materials that are recommended by our curriculum or recommended by our curriculum developers to help you in regards of preparedness for examinations and achievement of outcomes that we test in our CHRP curriculum. These materials, or actually almost all of them, will be available once our e-library solution is available, will be available for you to actually go get them. You'll be able to extract them from the e-library from various databases, the more than 30,000 references of databases that I was talking about. You'll be able to access these resources from in there. By just using a mobile app, we will call for another engagement once we have finalized the plans for the e-library, where we will be able to take you through on how you can access these references for further reading. So let's see how you interact with content now. Of course, you open an item like this one and you read on it. If it is required that you mark it as done, you will have to mark it as done. Actually, if you notice, let me go back here. Or let me log out of this candidate's account. I log in into as another student's account, probably that I know is here. Look, Masinde, you'll allow me to use your account, please. Masinde, am I allowed to proceed? Okay, I'm allowed to proceed passively. So I'm just acting as Masinde on Introduction to Human Resource Management. Oh, okay. Masinde has interacted with the content. Let me stop acting. Let me add someone else. People. Let me just invite someone into this course. If Abdi, you're here, please let me use your account for science. So I'm doing this because I want to take you through exactly what it entails. I can act as Hassan Abdi Ali. I'm able to do this because I'm the system administrator. I manage the system. Okay, so once you open it, this is how it actually comes. You notice that for a new student, you cannot be able to continue to another module, but then the modules, they indicate the topics or the outcomes that we are training, not unless you cover, you cannot be able to proceed to the next topic or the next outcome, not unless you cover the outcomes of the activities of the previous outcome. So here I'll start unit description, which is usually the syllabus or the curriculum of that particular subject. Let's say that I try to move to the next, to module 1 without saying or without advising that I'm done with the introduction, I cannot proceed. If you tell me this page is part of module concept of human resource and has not been unlocked yet, because why has it not been unlocked? It's because there's a prerequisite that I need to meet before I can proceed. So I have to go back to the unit description. The assumption is the reason why we have this control is that you can only mark this as done if indeed you are done with it. So I go to the next one, and you will notice now it has opened, or I get now allowed to access the content in the next module. So you will see that these notes or these materials that we have included in this study guide, they are highly summarized. Please note that it is expected that you will use this as a guide to guide you on areas that you need to further read on. So for example, here on learning outcome 1.1, which is to explain the concept of human resource management, we have given you what is the meaning of human resource management, the meaning of human resources, meaning of human resource management, various functions. And then now we tell you that you actually go ahead and you are able to get or to discover other areas or other content, the rest of the content that relates to the concepts that we are handling at that particular point. This content is highly summarized, or this study kit is highly summarized, and it is simply supposed to help you to get the skeleton of it, and then you will be able to go ahead and use the references for further reading that we have provided and other content to prepare and to read even more as you prepare for your examinations. So you're required to mark it as done. Let me show you why we require you to do that. If I go back here, once you are done, just a minute, once you are done, it actually ticks and shows that you are done. The whole essence is to help you to track your coverage of the content that we have covered. You see, the next one now, Introduction to Human Resource Management that I was going through, I'm not done with it yet. So not unless I say that I'm done, I cannot proceed to the next one, you know, or sorry, I'm allowed to proceed there, but I'm required also to mark that I'm done with this. I don't say it allows you continue in sequential order, then I go into the next one. This is an example of a synthesis videos that we will be uploading. So for example, this is an open resource available on YouTube that you can be able to play. So basically, we have used various sources of content to be able to help you synthesize further. So maybe a resource like this one that we came across as we were trying to build this content for you would be able to help you to probably further understand the content that we are trying to avail to you and to help you in your preparedness for the examinations. If I can go back there, the two items that I've covered, you see they are ticked, and then still I cannot access the next one until I am done with the second one, you know? And this is very intentional because it is supposed to allow you to proceed sequentially and to cover all prerequisites and all requirements for all outcomes that are ahead of the previous outcomes. I hope I'm clear on that. This is also another example of synthesis that we use, or examples that we can be able to use to insert, basically from various sources, like this is from YouTube, that we picked. So let me move a bit faster. So go to the next one. Yes, so this is an interactive revision activity. And these interactive revision activities are supposed or are stemmed. They are stemmed, they are picked from past examination content and all other sources that would help you to be able to synthesize now other areas that you cover. For example, here, in this interactive activity, there are several questions that you are asked in relation to the content that you have covered. The trick here is that you need to be able to answer at least these questions. Once you have some answers to this, then you can simply click reply and you type in the answer that you feel is the correct answer here. Or possible, let me call them possible answers.
Kindly, Laiboni, you should be winding up because of time. You're past 10 minutes past time, and the students have to be taken through the examination booking. So you can wind up as you finish up. And all the questions, all those who have questions for Laiboni, kindly put in the chat box. He will answer at the end because it's already 11. So just
okay, MC,
put in the chat
it is very
box.
important that I finish on the course that I have taken. Please give me a few more minutes. I finalize on this.
Yeah, you can finalize.
Okay, so you post reply, and then once you post, you're able to see what all other of your classmates or study mates that you have also been able to post. For example, the candidate I was looking at on Alex Nauma's page, he has created this entire write-up on content that basically explains on generations of human resource management. So then you go into the next one, and this is now references for further reading, of which now we are saying that these ones will be linked to our study kit guide. That's done. I go into next. Note that it's not required that you study this like continuously as I am. You can plan your time whenever you get some time within the 6 months that within the preparation for your examinations, you can be able to get to access this and track how much you're covering within your study period. However, in the interest of time, because I wanted to show you the aspect of formative assessment, please allow me to unlock the formative assessment bit here so that I'll stop sharing briefly and then I'll come back again because it's a little bit. Is the last thing, MC, please allow me to just unlock this. It's important that I take students through this process and they'll be able to understand exactly what we need to access in here. Okay. People, let me log up.
Okay, as Laiboni comes on to finish with the formative assessment, you can put all your questions in the chat box so that he will be able to answer once he has finished presenting. But he will take you through the formative assessment, and Laiboni, it's just you can tell the students what formative assessment is, and then you can take over from there.
So formative assessment, as I began by saying, is our compliance. It's a requirement basically by KNQA that we administer continuous assessments for students to gauge their level of achievement of outcomes that are outlined in our curriculum. Each and every module that we have here is actually a container of outcomes that you're supposed to cover. And you will see that there's a learning outcome, then there's content in it, and then there's an interactive revision kit, and then references for further reading. So it's assumed, or it is supposed to be so, that if you interact with this content and you make further efforts to read more on the areas that you are preparing to be examined on, that you should be prepared for your examinations come June. Before that, we will administer a formative assessment. So it is something like close to this. For example, here I have a quiz that is worth 20 points and has got 2 questions and a time limit of 40 minutes. So for me to undertake this, I simply click take quiz. Once I open it, a timer begins, it's counted down, and then the system picks 2 questions from the question bank. These questions are generated by the question bank or from the question bank, and you can be able to see those questions. It is expected that you'll give it time. You actually read through these questions and you answer them by typing in the answers in this box. Once you are done with it, you simply submit the quiz and it will come back to us for grading. Please take note that these formative assessment tests that we administer here, that they are subjected to various controls to make sure that they are not plagiarized and that it is actually your original work. Secondly, take note that the set of questions that you will get are not the same set of questions that your other classmates will get. So for example, I have these 2 questions. If another candidate logs in and they undertake the same quiz, they will get other questions or other 2 questions, but now from the same unit and from the same question bank. 1 minute, I just finalize on this. Lorraine, I know you want to kick me out now, but please give me a minute. I'm just finalizing. So to finalize, let me just log in real quick as another student here. And I picked the same formative assessment. If you can remember the questions that candidate was asked, you will actually take note that there are different questions, but they are all related to this particular course on Introduction to Human Resource Management. That is how you will be able to undertake your study or to undertake your revision preparations using our candidate preparation, our candidate enhancement resource center. That is this learning management system that we have. Thank you very much. And always remember, whenever you use a system and you are done with it, always remember to log out like I have. Thank you so much. We'll engage again, maybe at a future date, at a very near future date, so that I can be able to take you through this in more details. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laiboni. We appreciate your presentation. As you've heard from Laiboni, we will be having a learning management system to support all our students, both institutional and private candidates. So the learning management system will be communicated when it officially is implemented, and the login credentials. And if you have any questions on what Laiboni has taken us through, kindly put in the chat box. We are picking all your questions and we will be answering them at the end of this session. So we've come to a session that all the students I know have been waiting for, where we take you through the student service, the ERP system and our student services. Especially, I know students are waiting to book exams, and our exams will be running from 12th June 2024 to 19th June 2024. We have attached the timetable on the chat box. Kindly look at the timetable on the chat box, and Alex will take the students through that. He will take the students through online CHRP registration and exemption process training, and also the online self-booking training for the exams. So welcome, Alex. You can present. Also, you can mute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Lorraine. Someone speaking, please. Thank you, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mr. Alex Ondieki. I'm the Exam Administration Officer and the PA to the CEO. And in this session, I'll take you through registration process that is online, how to apply for exemptions. But mostly, kindly let us mute I'll focus more. By assumption, I stand guided. Maybe you can give us feedback on the chat. I believe that majority of this attendees or participants in this webinar are students who are already registered, applied for exemptions and all that. So when it comes to registration and exemptions, I'll just highlight, but I'll do demos on how to book for exam. I'll highlight on
Ndiki, you're not audible enough, please.
anyone else who can't hear me clearly?
We can hear you quite well.
Audible, I hear, but not audible enough.
Maybe from your end, but on deck is very clear.
Exactly. Kindly check your mic or your stability of your
think,
internet. But we
Mr. Alex,
appreciate
you
the
can
feedback.
just raise your voice a bit for people to hear, but you're very audible.
Thank you. So in my presentation, I'll focus on 4 items. That is student registration process, exemption application process, examination booking process, and access to examination results. You understand that the booking, of course, ends at the point of receiving the results. First, so the student registration process, as Mr. Masinde highlighted clearly, for one to be registered as an HRMPEP student, the first is the entry requirements. We have the 3 programs, CBET certificate and diploma, and the professional course CHRP. So therefore for CHRP, the minimum entry grade is C+, or the diploma in business management or HR, degree from a recognized institution. Mind you, here it's a degree in any specialization or another qualification recognized by the board. Secondly, it's on application submission requirements. And I'm making this presentation for the purpose of those prospective students who are in this meeting. So for you to submit your application, you require to have a copy of ID, certified copy of KCSE certificate, and your academic certificates and their respective official transcripts. Therefore, here, what is required, we look at the entry requirements for the sake of clarity, because we receive quite a number of inquiries regarding the entry requirements, is that for you to apply for registration, if you scored a C+, even if you have advanced to PhD level, all you need for admission, provided you have a C+ and above, for admission, you just need to submit your copy of ID and KCSE, and of course pay the prerequisite fees. However, for an individual with a C+ and above, the post-secondary qualifications are much required when it comes to award of exemptions. However, for someone who scored less than a C+, let's say a C- or a D+, they will be on top of the KCSE certificate required to submit their post-secondary progression, so that then we are able to confirm that they have met the entry requirements. What am I trying to say is that an applicant, assuming I'm an applicant and had scored a D+ at KCSE, so therefore you can't submit the D+ KCSE certificate and the degree qualifications. That one will not be accepted for admission. However, we shall require you to show on how you progress to degree level by submitting the diploma qualifications or certificates for that matter. And then the next, for you to apply, the third requirement is to have a portal, student portal account. So on this one, we have established a dedicated student portal, and all our services are online, straight from registration, application for exemptions, examination booking, access of results, payment, name it, application for remarking, deferment. All these services are accessible online. For you to be able to access all this, you must have a student account. Just a quick demo on how to create the student account. So you just visit our website, then click on the student portal option. Once you click, are you able to see? Lorraine, please confirm so that I'm not moving fast.
Yes, yes, yes. We are able to see Mr. Alex. You can go on.
Thank you. Once you're on the website, click on the student portal option. And then it will take you to this homepage, the portal homepage. If you do not have an account, you'll be required to click on register here. If you have an account, you put in your login credentials and you're able to proceed. So the process is as simple as possible. So for registration, you input your details, your full names, your email address, you confirm the email address, your mobile number contact, your ID, then you confirm, then you complete the rest of the process as guided in the system. I wouldn't dive in much into this because it's a very simple process and in the interest of time. Other than that, sorry, I'm gonna have to change between slides. Once you have created a portal account, then you are to submit the required documents, which basically include what I have highlighted above and payment of the requisite fee. And then you get feedback from us. So what happens once you get our feedback? You are supposed to proceed to with the learning process or the tuition training. And here, as the CEO had highlighted and my other speakers, we have got two main modes of study, that is institutional-based students and the private students. However, we also allow a student to blend, which I will highlight or rather emphasize on that means when I'm conducting the demo on how to book for exam. And then allow me now to dive into exemptions. Exemption application process. What you need to understand in this process is the criteria of awarding exemptions, what are the requirements, and how you are supposed to submit the application via the portal and the timelines for doing that, as well as the timelines for making an appeal. So first, just to emphasize very quickly, exemptions, the CHRP exemptions are awarded on paper by paper criteria. There are two criteria that are mostly used in various institutions of learning. One is the blanket criteria, for instance, where assuming a program has got 3 parts, part 1, 2, 3, then you are exempted the whole of part 1, provided you have a degree, for instance, without having to focus on what exactly you covered at degree level. The second criteria is on paper by paper, which is the criteria that the HRMP used for exemption award, which means that whether a unit is in part 1, section 1, let's say business law, provided you have never covered unit in your prior academic life or professional life or qualifications, you will be required to undertake that unit. So here, paper by paper means you get an exemption from a unit that you qualify from, that which you have covered before, if you request to be exempted from. By that, I mean application for exemptions is purely optional, it's not mandatory. And then the certificate level qualifications are not considered for exemptions. So assuming I did a certificate in human resource management and I've advanced to degree level, and maybe there are units I did at certificate level, which I never covered at the diploma or bachelor's or master's level, those units at diploma level are not considered for exemption because at that level, the outcomes of certificate level are different from the outcomes at CHRP. Also, credit transfers that are granted by previous or granted by other institutions are not considered in awarding the CHRP exemptions. And then part 3 of the program, as it was mentioned, is compulsory, and this is an area that where the key competencies of the program are covered. And then lastly, there is the 49% capping. One is not allowed to get more than 49% of the exemptions. The requirements for you to get exemptions, just you must present certified copies of academic certificates and official certified transcripts. We insist on official transcripts because these are the transcripts that are issued to students upon official conferment that they have acquired the qualification. The result slips here or for continuing students are not considered because essentially the exemptions are granted to holders of qualifications. So you only become a holder once upon graduation. And the second thing why we insist on certified transcripts, we all live in an age where unfortunately people do all that it takes, sometimes to achieve what they want, including what happens at River Road and no forgery of documents. So by transcripts, why we insist on certified transcripts to ensure that the applicant is solely responsible for the authenticity of the documents submitted for the award of exemptions or registration. And then once you have all those requirements, you submit your applications via the portal. And then within 30 days from the date of registration. So here exemptions are allowed once you have been registered as a student, step 1. The step 2 of it, which is I mentioned, is optional. And if you are to take that direction of exemptions, you are to apply for exemptions within the first 30 days of registration. And then if you get feedback on the exemptions and you're not satisfied, you have the opportunity to appeal. Sometimes maybe for lack of adequate information, an applicant submits inadequate or incomplete documents. Let's say you submit first to third year transcripts, you forgo the fourth year, then you realize you didn't get an exemption for a unit that you had covered in fourth year. So you have an opportunity to apply for additional exemptions by submitting the relevant documents within 14 days from the date you receive feedback of the initial exemption application. So on this one, equally, you log into the portal. Allow me again just to highlight just a snippet of it on how to do it. So while on the student portal, all you need is to go on the student the portal dashboard. You need to go to application for exemptions and then select new exemption application. And then the system will be able to guide you for the next step, which I will not be able to go through in this webinar. The exemption appeal, this is the option that I talked. Once the initial exemption application has been processed, and if you're not satisfied, you're able to use this option to appeal within the timelines that I provided. The draft exemptions option here, assuming you begin an application for exemption, a new application for exemption, but for one reason or the other, you don't complete the process. So in the next time you log in, if you click on new exemption, the system will notify you that you have an existing exemption application. So in that case, you click on drafts, then it will redirect you to the existing application. Then you proceed to complete and submit. Once you submit, you're able to track the application to see whether it has been approved or not. Once approved, the fee will reflect on your student portal part. Then you are supposed to proceed to make the payment. Under the exemption application tab on the dashboard, we also have the exemption payment. So for those students who have been asking, how do I pay my exemptions via the portal? You just select the option of exemptions payment, and the system will be able to redirect you on how to pay. And then lastly, once your exemption payment has been processed and the units have been posted, they reflect on your portal, you are able to, first you get the exemption letter via email, but equally you are able to download that exemption letter from your portal at any given time. Please note that when it comes to exemptions, the exemptions you are granted, first we process and you receive an invoice confirming the units that you've been exempted. However, it doesn't entirely mean you've been exempted. The units will remain open until you activate those exemptions by way of payment. So once you pay, that is when those units will reflect. If you look on this dashboard, there is the second tab there. You can see 11 exemptions there. Assuming these candidates had not paid for these exemptions, then the number of exemptions that we project here will be 0. So until it is paid. So in other words, during examination booking, which I'm going to highlight later, if you're granted exemptions and you have not activated those exemptions, those units will be populating there and you'll be required to book for them for exam, which I will also further highlight when it comes to progression rule. And then from there, I will also highlight on how to, sorry about that. Yeah, the examination booking process, and this is where I will dig in. So the requirements for you to book for exam, number 1, you must be a bona fide registered student of the examinations board. Number 2, you must log into the portal. Number 3, you must get approval. And this approval is done if you have met the requirements, mostly which include not just booking, but also making the examination booking payment. Now, this one, I will go straight to demonstrate on how to book for exam quickly. Lauren, please confirm if you're able to follow and if you can hear me clearly.
We can hear you, Alex.
Thank you so much. So just give me a moment. I pick an account for purposes of demonstration.
Yes, Alex.
Yes, I'm proceeding. Just I'm picking an account for the sake of demonstration very quickly.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so that then we are all on the same page.
Thank you, you're audible. Thank you.
Yes.
As Alex picks the account, kindly, if you have any questions on the presentation Alex is making on exemptions, registration, examination booking, put it in the chat box. Once this is over, he will be able to take all the questions. Thank you for the 300 students who've logged in, and we appreciate that you're here to listen in to the training.
Now this is ready. So we go to how to book for examinations. As I mentioned, you must log into your student portal, which is easily accessed via our on the website. So in this demo, kindly, it's good to inform you that we are going to use student accounts, because it is only then that we are able to demonstrate exactly, because what we are doing is actually a simulation of the whole process. So just in case, and we are able to use the accounts because we are the admins. However, we are purely demonstrating this on a test environment. So by any chance, if we end up using your account, do not worry, any data is not being affected because we are working on a test environment. Thank you. So you'll be able to log into your portal, and the first thing on the dashboard, you will be able to go to examination booking. Then click on student booking on the dashboard, then click on examination booking. Here, the portal or the system will require you to upload your passport photo if you have not. All right, so it's part of the requirement, and then you proceed to upload your passport and make sure that, I advise that make sure that the passport you're uploading, it's an official passport, and then it is in JPEG or JPG file type. Kindly make sure you attach, because it is this passport that you are attaching that we are going to use to identify you during examinations. And some students in the last exam had challenges. Some of them had posted. I remember one student who had uploaded a picture of a nicely made bed. And it was very difficult. You know, you keep on being disrupted because of you do not have a photo, or that particular photo you have is what is on your examination sitting timetable or the authority to sit for exam. So we advise that you ensure you upload a recent passport photo that is able to capture your head and your shoulders. Then you'll be able to upload the photo as part of the requirement. Click on upload. Once you upload, the passport the photo will reflect, and then update your personal information, postal code as required. Kindly ensure that those requirements that are very compulsory with a red asterisk, you are able to update them before you proceed. Then make sure that you submit the personal details. Someone is not muted, kindly. Thank you. Once you update your photo, your passport photo, then you're able to go back to examination booking. And I hope all of you are able to see on the dashboard the examination booking. Then click on examination booking, student booking, followed by examination booking again. The system will redirect you to this section with a green button where you're informed to book examination. So here, you click on book examination, you'll be able then to be taken to the next page where you select the exam series, but in this case, it is automated. It's one series that is populated there. The next exam sitting, which is June. The mode of study. Here, I will highlight these three before I proceed. Number one, we have the private candidates. In this case, it is clear you're going to study on your own, but the board, for purposes of standardization and ensuring that everyone has access to quality materials, you know, and for quality and assurance purposes, the materials have been developed. Liboni, my colleague, has taken you through the whole process of the LMS, the e-library, and all that to support the private candidates, and not just the private candidates, but for all the students. And for a fact, I like having access to all the students. You realize in most cases we have been conducting surveys every other time, and the feedback we are getting from some students, quite a substantial number, is that some of them, unfortunately, they are not getting good value for money at the training institutions for one reason or the other. But we also reach out to the training institutions to endeavor that they make sure that they endeavor to give value for, you know, for money for their students. However, for that reason, we felt that whether you're a private candidate or an institutional candidate, it's good that we all have access to these materials. So that is the private option. And then we have the institutional option. You are enrolled in a training institution, you are attending class there full-time, and then you make sure you select the institutional option. Then lastly, we have the blend. That is, you are both private and at the same time institutionals. For example, in CHRP, we have the technical or the units that are considered in HR to be technical, especially the common disciplines, economics, financial accounting, and maybe, you know, we call it QT, quantitative techniques, for those at diploma level. So therefore, if you're a CHRP student and you feel that financial accounting, for instance, is a bit technical and you need to be trained and attend class, you have that option. And then you feel introduction to HR is just easy. You can study on yourself, but you can't study finance accounting on your own. You decide to go to class. So that is allowed. So during examination booking, kindly, you are supposed to pick the blend option. So once you pick the blend option, then you are able to proceed to highlight. So here, allow me to begin with the private candidate option for the sake of this account. So you select the mode of study as private, click on renew and book. do not mind, just click on the next. You don't worry about the renewing and the booking, because the system, if you have any arrears, they will be populated on your invoice at the end of the booking process. So you come to the next phase. So here, the units that you have, the units that you have not attempted, the system checks any unit that you have not attempted and passed, and any unit that you are not exempted will populate at this point. Assuming you are a student of the old curriculum, you are exempted 10 units, you have attempted 5 units, so you have got 7 units remaining that you are not exempted, or neither have you attempted exam. All those 7 units will populate at this point. And for those who have been newly granted exemption, and if you have not paid for those exemptions, assuming you are exempted from unit number 1 to 9, and you have not paid for those exemptions, that unit number 1 to 9 will also populate here, because it is not yet factored as an exemption. And you will not be able to book for exam until you activate those exemptions, because on progression rule, which I'm going to talk about, you will not book unit number 2, for instance, if you have not selected 12. So then, at this point, the first thing you are supposed to do is to reload all the available papers. Click on reload all the available papers. For this case of this student account, the available paper is just the project. In that case, then you select the project, make sure that you highlight the project there, and then submit, click on submit papers. So once you submit the papers, it will check, then you click OK, then you'll be taken to the next step, which is select the mode of examination. So if you are in for physical examinations, you will select the physical, or if it's online examination, it's online. But remember, it is good that actually by chance I landed on this account. If you are a project student, of course, you're not going to sit for online examinations, and neither are you going to attend the physical examinations just like the other papers. But at this point, just select the physical examination option for you to be able to progress to the next step. Just a moment. Kidogo. Then the next phase is to mode of examinations. Here you pick the fiscal, and then the county. You'll be required to pick the county like that. All these options will just populate. You don't need to stress on what to choose. The available options are there according to where you are. So for project only candidates, just select it for the purpose of completing the whole process. There is no harm. Then at the tail end of it, before you proceed to payment, you'll be required to agree. We are also going to improve on this page, whereby you'll be able to have access to these terms and conditions that you're agreeing to. You click on them and you read and understand, but they're also captured on your student exam sitting timetable. Then you click on proceed to invoice. When you proceed to invoice, the invoice will be populated for you to be able to see. Like in this case, remember, this is a private candidate student. Private candidate student. So you can see project supervision fee as reflected here, 15,500. And this one, actually, we settled on this fees because we are engaging professionals, doctors, and people with the industry experience. Of course, there is a financial implication. And we also did a market survey on what are the charges for project supervision. So we are within the rates that are being charged out there. So for those students, maybe you are feeling this is a bit higher. Actually, I can tell you it's not higher, because you can also compare with the training institutions charges. So that is why we have that fee right there. And then there is the examination fees for 5, and then the total invoice amounts to 20,500. So what happens from this point? You proceed. But however, I wish to insist on one thing, that once you reach at this point, because matters money, it's something that is sensitive, and sometimes maybe you are not ready, you didn't have the total amount, you wanted to see how much it is going to sum up to. At this point, you can log out from your account if you do not have adequate money in your account, and then come later before the booking deadline, go back to examination booking option here, you go to the drafts and be able to, again, redo the whole process or even proceed to payment, which I'm going to demonstrate. So assuming this candidate here, Semeni Mimi, and I do not have the money, so then I will log out. On the assumption that I've logged out and I have logged in, you will still come back to examination booking process, student booking, but now this time, you don't click on examination booking, you click on drafts. You click on drafts, the system will show you, it will take you to your booking application that is existing, not yet complete. And then you'll have an option. I think there is some bit of technical hitch, it's doubling up these two, but never mind, we look into that. So there are two options here, edit the application or proceed to payment. And in that case, you'll proceed to payment. But assuming that if you are a private candidate, because we are going to have the portal open all year round for you to book for the exam. So in such case, if you feel, or maybe for one reason or the other, you want to reduce the number of units, or you want to increase the number of units, assuming you had booked for 3, and then you want to make them 5, you have an option of editing the application. But please note, this option is only available if you have not submitted your booking. So please do not submit your booking unless you are very sure. Because remember, at the tail end, you are agreeing to the terms and conditions. And the part of the terms and conditions is that once a booking is submitted, you can only apply for deferment or withdraw a unit, which I will explain. So then at this point, you proceed to, you can either edit or proceed to payment. And at this point, our services, we are onboarding our services on eCitizen. That is supposed to be actually, we are already onboarded. So as soon as we open the portal, which is going to happen next week, you'll be able to make the payment through the eCitizen platform, through our portal, that is. So here you'll be required to input your mobile number and then proceed to pay. Then you select the option of payment. You select M-Pesa if you have the money in M-Pesa or not, or in the bank, or the other options available. And then click. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm able to proceed because we have set the amount to be as little as that for the sake of demonstration. But if the invoice, you could see it was reflecting 20,000. So that is the amount that will reflect here. So then you'll send command, send the STK push. And at this point, you will get the STK push on your phone. All you need to do is to enter the PIN to complete the process. All right, Lauren, you can hear me? Are you there?
Yes, I'm there, Alex. I can hear you very well. You can be winding up because the questions are very many.
Quite
so
heavy.
you can finish up so that you can help the students with the questions.
Right. Thank you. Allow me to move to the next. I want to demonstrate if you are registering as a blend, which is very critical. The institutional, the private candidate is straightforward. I want to focus on the blend, and then as I wind up, allow me to pick another account. Just a moment. Then 26.
Zara.
Thank you. So then how do you book exam as a blend student? There is one particular area that I like to emphasize what it means to book. So the same process is it's the same process of booking. You go to booking, select the new booking as a student, click on that, select the series, mode of study, blend. So please, as students, if there is anything that is not clear, reach out to us, we'll clarify it before you make the booking. So when it comes to blend, you will equally be required to select the training institution where you are blending at. Because we are all stakeholders, and when we are giving these reports even to training institutions, we want to give an exact report of the number of students that were tuitioning with them. So therefore, when it comes to blend, assuming you are doing 6 units and it's only 1 unit that you are attending class, then you select which unit, which unit and at which institution. So at this point, you select the institution, then click on renew and forward. So in this case, the student has an existing booking. So then we go back to drafts. So right about that, click on drafts, edit the application, proceed. So it's a very simple process. So the option here, once you get to this point, you have to reload all papers again. So because we picked the blended student option or mode of study, this second column here populates. Let me highlight the heading. The second column populates. It gives you the option to highlight which unit you are blending and at which institution. So assuming in this account, the student is blending unit number 21, HR accounting, then you'll come and highlight HR accounting as the unit you are blending. The other ones, you leave them blank because you are studying on your own. So then what happens? You submit all the papers, move to the next step. Assuming you pick online examinations, in this case, select center, and next. Agree to the terms, proceed to invoice. At this stage, you'll get an invoice. So I want to emphasize on this invoice, and it's good that we get it clarified. Number one, for all private candidates, they're going to be charged at the fee for reasons that have been highlighted, developing the structures, having the systems in place to make sure that you have all the support. And of course, we all agree it comes with a cost implication. So what you're going to be charged the curriculum support material fee for that matter. And also there is the admin fee. For private candidates, they are being charged a total of 3,700 fees per unit, excluding examination fee. Thank you. And this candidate, or for this account, she is or he is undertaking the project as a private candidate. The fee is this much, 15,500. And also on top of that, the candidate is doing online examinations. The online examinations, we have done 2 pilots of online examinations. We have realized actually that administering online examination, it's more expensive than a physical exam. The proctoring and all that, having the adequate resources to make sure that the proctoring process is done, and having a team to invigilate that exam attracts a lot of costs. And for that reason, and for the convenience, because initially the online examinations was purely envisaged for candidates outside the country or those who are not able to access the examination centers for reasons of geographical distance-wise. Someone is in Mandera and they are required to travel all the way to Eldoret to do an exam, or for those students who found it more convenient So for that reason, there is a fee that has been introduced there, online examination administration fee. So this invoice, it is not the same for every candidate. The invoice will be dependent on what mode of study or mode of exam and whether you're doing a project that you're selecting. So assuming this student was not doing a project, is exempted, not doing online exam, this cost will be less by 25,500. So clearly, it's good we emphasize on that. So this will be the invoice, and then now you proceed to the booking process. Now, lastly, on examination booking, two things I'm remaining with to demonstrate: online examination requirements and also the issue on progression. Now, progression here, allow me to go back very quickly and demonstrate. So the progression rule here is that previously students have been taking the course in an amorphous manner. However, in conformity with the Kenya National Qualifications Framework and some of the reforms in the education sector, it is only right for purposes of standardization and quality assurance that the units at the lower level are first undertaken before you undertake the upper level units. And also, we are looking at an option where employers are now looking for CHRP. Maybe for some roles, what one requires is to be CHRP Part 1, or to have done CHRP Part 1. With the way the course was done before, it was very difficult even to issue completion letters, or even because you'll find a student has done all the units in Part 3 and they are remaining with the units in Part 1. So it wasn't right to do that. So that has been changed. So what is the implication of that on the booking process? Assuming this student wants to book unit number 20 and 22, and then you pick those units, what happens? The system will tell you, allow me to zoom in for you to see, the system will inform you that the progression rule error, you must have completed CHRP 21 or have it in your booking before you book 22. Why? Because the applicant was trying to skip 21 and booking 22. So in that case, here we are talking about unit progression, not per part or per section progression. So if it is unit number 1, 17, 21, and 22 you have remaining, you can't book 22 if you have not selected number 1, the remaining lower units. That is clear. And then lastly, on online examination requirements, students going to book for online examination requirements. In the past, we have had to cancel online examinations because of questions related to the quality and the integrity of the examinations. But that is an issue that whose time has come. We can't run away from online examinations, and we have come up with measures to ensure that all students who wish to take online examinations are able to, however, subject to meeting the requirements. So you will be required as an online candidate to have 2 cameras. Camera number 1, it is your webcam on your laptop, which we are able to see your face. Camera number 2 will be able to focus 360 degree of your examination environment. So for that reason, Lauren, kindly allow me to present a free access material that is online to demonstrate what we mean by 360 coverage. So if a student does not meet this requirement, kindly do not book for online examinations. Otherwise, you'll be locked out of the exam if you don't meet this requirement. And allow me to demonstrate what it means in a 40 seconds video. Are you able to see? Anyone please confirm?
Yes, we can see Mwalimu.
Thank you. My team, you are not there, Lauren?
We are there, we are able to see, and I think students who are in the meeting, I hope you can be able to see. If you want to do online examination, what Mr. Alex is saying, that you have to have such a view. So kindly be keen, because when you're booking examinations, it will ask whether you want physical or online. Go on, Mr. Alex.
Proceed with the video. Thank you. I'll pause it at that point. So there are 4 elements that we're going to look for. Number 1, we must be able to see your monitor, your screen, the way it is. I've paused at that point. So in the past, we didn't have this requirement, and there were crafty candidates who could place other gadgets the front, because all we could see, it's your face. But now we want to see that 360-degree view. The proctor should be able to have that 360-degree. The proctor here is the invigilator who is invigilating the online examinations. And if in any case the exam requires you to have additional test aids, for example, it's mathematics, or maybe you have to do some calculations, we should be able to see all those materials there. If you do not meet these requirements, you will be locked out of the exam, and we have all these recordings to support reasons for locking you out. I think that marks the end of my presentation, and much that I've not covered, we shall be able to cover them as we continue with the other regular webinars. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alex, for that comprehensive training on how students can register, on the exemption process, and the online self-examination booking training. In a nutshell, what Alex has said is that each and every student, you have to have a student portal, and you have to book your own exam. You have to self-book your own exam. No one else will book the exam for you. So ensure that you have a student portal and you've booked exams. So because we are behind the schedule, I'll just invite Mr. Nyankwara for 3 minutes to take us very quickly through handling of complaints, because that is a very important aspect of the exam body. If you have any complaint or feedback on how you can give it and where you can give it. So Mr. Nyakwara, because of time, I'll only give you 3 minutes, because we have a lot of questions that we need to handle. Thank you so much and welcome. And Mr. Jojo Pio, I can see your hand up. I will be able to, after this, there's a plenary, I'll be able to give you some minutes so that you can raise your question. So just hold on a bit. Let Mr. Nyakwara present for 3 minutes, then we can take all those questions together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lorena Seka. It's 1 minute to noon time, so good afternoon. Yeah, so I'm going to present just a small thing about on how we are handling complaints in our organization. Apart from the normal inquiries that you make, you may be having an issue that you think that is a complaint that you would like to put to us. So the following are the procedures for doing this. So how do I make a complaint at the HRM? So you can do this by visiting our offices in person, located at Mwalimu Towers, that's first floor. Once you come in, just at the reception, you'll present your case, and there is a book that will be given so that you can be able to record your complaint in that book. You can also call a toll-free number, which is always shared in our social platforms. Also, it's available on our website. So you can call that number, it's toll-free. then you can be able to launch your complaint and you will be directed further on how to deal with that. You can also text through the numbers shown there. They are also available in all our social medias. Again, though not many people do this, you can write a letter and post it through the post address, which is 237300 Nairobi. And finally, you can write an email to complaints@hrmpeb.or.ke. Is a dedicated email for complaints. But this does not mean that once you send the complaint to info, it will not reach us. It will also reach us. Then what can you complain about? You can complain about a concern you may have about our services, an issue you have raised but has not been responded to, any additional concern you may have regarding HRMPEB. So those are some of the complaints that you can do to us. Then complaint handling procedure, stage 1, you launch your complaint. So the complaint is received at HRMPEB. Step 2, we shall acknowledge the receipt of your complaint. Step 3, we shall start to investigate the matter, including reviewing all the documents regarding the complaint that you have. Then step 4, we shall maintain contact with the complainant all the way through if the issue is not resolved. Number 5, we shall inform the complainant of a final result of the investigation. And finally, we shall put the complaint issue to an end. Maybe because of time, there is also a complaint which we are introducing, an online complaint on our portal. I don't know whether Laibon is still online. Laibon?
Yes, I'm still online.
Okay. So let Laibon also show us on how we can do the complaint on our website.
Geoffrey, I think because of time,
yes,
we can send the information to the students because the questions are many.
Well guided.
On complaints, kindly.
Okay.
So this one, I think you can just finish up, then we will be able to send the questions to the students so that we can handle their questions.
Thank you.
Okay, so are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Nyakwara, for that. So the students, you've seen, if you want to make a complaint, how you can make a complaint and where you can make a complaint. So we've finished with that, and now we are at the plenary session. So what we will do is, because the questions are many, I've written them down and I will be reading them out. But if you have any question that you have, you will kindly just raise up your hand. We will be giving one by one to speak so that we can see what to do. But as people raise up their hand, one of the question was, when do we begin to do the formative assessments? This will be answered by the exam department, probably Alex and Dr. Kiragu. You can be answering that. Also on formative, just putting them together on formative assessment. Another question is formative assessment for private candidates or for all students? Mr. Kiragu will also answer that. And the last question on formative assessment is that will the formative assessment be done on the LMS or outside the system? So those are the questions on formative assessment. And as I can see, there are 5 hands up. And I don't know how Alex and Dr. Kiragu, you want to pick up the questions so that we see how we can save on time, and also the people who have opened up on the questions can be able to do. But what I propose is that the 3 questions on the formative assessment can be answered. Then I'll start with Beth. I will open the mic so that Beth can speak. So Dr. Kiragu, if he's not around, Alex, you can pick the 3 questions.
Lorin Aseka.
Okay,
I'm
welcome.
here.
Yes.
I hope you can see and you can hear me.
I can
And
hear
then
you.
I want to respond to when do we begin to do the formative assessment. And the formative assessment will start as soon as you register for the exam. And we are intending to open the exam booking portal early next week. So the formative assessment should be done as early as next week. Then number 2 is the formative assessment for only the private candidates or for all the students. And the answer is that formative assessment is for all the students, whether institutional or private candidates. Then the other question was, these formative questions, are they to be done on the LMS or outside LMS? The answer is that all the formative assessment will be done on the LMS. Maybe without taking much time, I would say that you have realized that we have opened our materials, that is the learning guides and the revision kits, to all the candidates, whether institutional or private candidates. As the CEO had earlier said, that whether you are a private candidate or whether you are an institutional candidate, you are all our candidates. And therefore, even the institutional candidates will also be assessing these materials through LMS, and therefore, these formative assessments will be done strictly within the LMS. Thank you for now, unless then maybe another question.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for those answers. That is very clear on the formative assessment. So Beth Mutai, kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. And as they ask the question, Alex, kindly be on standby to answer. Beth?
Good afternoon, team. My question would be 2. 1, the exam booking portal is already open, and because of that, I proceeded to book my fee that has been introduced for the exam and for the materials. And so I reached out and I wanted to opt out to go back to institutional learning. So the invoice comes, and I've already paid school fees in the institution. Total amount 73,000. And I cannot reverse what Alex has said, it cannot be reversed. So it will mean that I pay an additional 12,000 that is not going to be of help to me on top of 73,000. So my request would be you work on it, that we have this system reversible for those who do not know all the new changes. And secondly is what happens to a unit that I'd sat for before and I had to retake the unit? Since I had attended class and I have the notes, do I have to book the exam again and go to class? I'm aware that we are paying for the examination fee, but do I have to go back to the institution to learn again? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth. Alex, kindly answer that question.
Yeah, so first, thank you for that question. I'd like to clarify that the portal is not yet open for booking. However, anyone who had attempted to book exam last time and they didn't complete, that application is still open, and that's why you're able to progress and edit. However, for other students, the portal is not, and that does not mean that the portal is open. The portal is not. It's only that you're already in, you had booked, and you didn't complete the process. The invoice is editable as highlighted, not unless you had submitted your booking fully and it had been processed. But if it's at a draft level are not submitted, kindly reach out to us through our contacts. We'll be able to look at your case. But I'd like to emphasize that the invoice is quite editable. And Lorraine, I don't know if we have even a minute to demonstrate that quickly, but even without demonstrate, maybe for the sake of those who may not believe. But if there is no need to demo that, kindly, I'd like to emphasize that it's very much editable. You can switch. You can register as an institutional candidate and then later decide, you know, I don't know what happens. Some students will register and give information and they want to change. You wonder why that change. So if you want to make that change, and that's why I insisted, kindly do not submit your booking if you're not sure. We will only handle any forms of change to examination booking that are as a result of unavoidable circumstances, such as sickness and all those kind of things. And that's why the deferment and withdrawal of units is there. Now, on the units that you undertook and you failed, how do you progress? That is purely at your purview as a student to decide. Number one, you engage with your training institution. If you are training an institutional candidate, rather, all you need to do is to engage your training institutions and ask them, I failed this unit. How do we move forward? Must I pay the tuition fee or can I attend revision classes? And what are the cost implications? And then you make a decision. However, you have an option, and that is why we have looked at all these scenarios as we came up and created the system and they gave out all these requirements. We are cognizant of that, and that is one other reason why we have the blend option. Because as a blend, then you'll be able to pick that unit you are not attending class, you are only a private candidate, and then you pay the required examination fee and administration fee. Because even as you repeat this unit, you still require support. And it's very difficult to separate that now. This one failed, this one did not fail, separate this and separate this. Having all those scenarios, it's not possible. What we know is that if you fail, you didn't meet the requirements, the examiner failed, you didn't meet the requirements, and therefore you need access to adequate quality materials to enable you to pass the examinations. Thank you. I'll be able to proceed with other questions that I've taken from the chat at the later stage. You are allowed.
Thank you, Alex. We kindly we have so many questions, so let's kindly keep the answers short. We have other questions. Let me just take two. Then Sophie Mulama, after the two that will be answered, you will unmute yourself and you will ask your question. Beth, if you're answered kindly, you can lower your hand. So the two question is, there's just comments. I think consider having exams a month after results to allow those full papers in exam to register before June, November exams. That one is noted. Then another one is a question of, I am quite a dormant student in old curriculum. Can I register as a private candidate? I am a dormant student in the old curriculum. Can I register as a student? That will be taken by Dr. Kiragu. Another one is a comment. Email takes too long to be responded. We will respond to that. Please send us the recording of today's meeting. We will send the recording on all our platforms and your emails. So Dr. Kiragu, you can take that one. Then I had told Lucy to unmute and speak after Dr. Kiragu takes that question.
Thank you, Lorraine. I want to answer this question, whether a dormant student in old curriculum can register as a private student to proceed. The answer is yes. Kindly register as a private student because we have the materials for both the old curriculum and the revised curriculum. Thank you.
And before you go, Daktari, just answer why not exempt more than 49% and we are paying for it. Kindly answer that.
Yeah, now, the question was, why not exempt more than 49% of the units and we are paying for it? Now, we want, or rather number one, this is a policy from the board that we only exempt 49% of the units. Then we want to give you a credible certification, a credible certification that you will be proud of as a HR practitioner. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that we also need to own the results. The grade that we append in that result slip, 50% or more than 50%, that is 50 plus 1 units, ought to come from us. And that is why we felt that we need now to exempt not more than 49% of the unit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Abdul Karim Odhiambo, kindly, Sophie first. Sorry, it was Sophie first. Sophie Mulama, unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you, Lorraine. I'm sure you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. My question, I'll go straight to my question. My question is that I know I'm an old curriculum student and an old one for that matter. I had been exempted close to about, I think, seven or so units and paid for them. How do I update them on the portal? I still have the letter. I may not have the payment advice. Probably if I need to retrieve it. But that was way back in 2021 then. Kindly help on how I can go and just upload them on the portal.
Alex?
Sophie, on that one, you're saying that you had been exempted and you had paid, but they're not reflected on the portal. Then it's something that we need to look from our part, the admin part, and see why those units are not onboarded, and we are the ones to be able to load them for you. Once the application was processed, then you are not able, not unless if you do it from the portal, then it requires that you are applying again, which may require you to once more pay. So that's an issue that you can forward through our channels of communications, examinations department. We look into your account. Maureen, if you allow me also to add on Dr. Kiragu's response, why 49%, and yet the students are able to pay for, or they are paying for exemptions. Number one, it is a requirement that the Kenya National Qualifications Frameworks that led to the establishment of even Kenya National Qualifications Authority. These are the reforms in the Kenyan education sector. You, as an institution, you can't claim to be a qualification awarding institution when you are awarding exemptions more than 50% of your program. In other words, what that is communicating is that you don't want the whole program. Your program is as good as, the other programs. And that's why the review came in to ensure that part 3 of the CHRP, to seal the gaps that were there in the old curriculum, also that it had come the right time to have it reviewed so that the competencies, the key competencies for a CHRP are part 3. So it is a requirement. And in some of these recommendations and reforms, the recommendation that we have received even from Kenya National Qualifications Authority is that, and that's why we're implementing the formative assessment, is that there must be formative assessment. So we are implementing part of the recommendations that we have been given by the regulators. As much as we are an examining body, we are also regulated. Just like the Ministry of Education regulates how, secondary schools and all that operate, exams are administered. Equally, we are also regulated. Our curriculums are subjected for scrutiny, for lack of a better word, to other regulators before approval. And part of the regulators, it's the Kenya National Qualifications Authority. So it's a requirement for that 49%. And then answer another question on formative, that is it part of exam? Yes, formative assessment is part of exam. It's 20%, and it is going to be administered. We have not set the date yet, but it's going to be a month to 1.5 month period to the main exam. And is it for every candidate? Yes, it is for every candidate. There was another question of opening the portal. The portal is going to be open in the course of next week. We are going to communicate the exact date. There was a question from Janet, need to give reasons for declining exemption applications. With the changes with the ERP system that we are using, we can't, assuming you apply for 9 exemptions, we are not able to explain, and you get 1 approved, 8 declined. We are not able to explain for each one why it is declined. But in summary, if an exemption request is declined, the reason is that the board has assessed and it has determined that you do not qualify to be exempted from that area. Alternatively, assuming you had not submitted all the required documents, then you have an option to appeal and submit the additional documents. Sometimes we decline because students do not take through the instructions and check that you didn't attach certified documents. So there are reasons that we are able to give, but in summary, and if we reject, we are able to tell you that you have not submitted ABCD, kindly submit. But where you receive an invoice of 6 units, whereas you had applied for 9, so the 3 you don't qualify. And there was a question from Nicholas, consider having results early. Yes, part of the reason why we're implementing the progression rule is to ensure that the portal is open all year round so that students, even those who are not waiting for results release, assuming you didn't sit for November exam, you don't need to wait until the November results are released for you to book. But we were not able to do that before because some of these requirements, such as the progression rule, were not in place. There was a question from Mohamud that he passed the exam in the past series. Now he wants to proceed as a private candidate. How do you progress? As a private candidate, what you need is just to plan yourself and book for exam. So that's why we are saying that the portal is going to be open. You realize our exams are done twice a year, June and November. So between January and up to about the beginning of May, you have all these about 5 months to book for exam. So you have the opportunity to study, to also book your exam in advance. And particularly those candidates, if a project is part of the units that you're going to undertake in that particular sitting, make sure that you register in advance, and we are able, as a private candidate, assign you the supervisors to take you through the whole process of concept paper development, proposal development, the reports, because you're going to be required to present and defend the 2 phases of the project process. And that's why we are charging the supervision fee, to answer the question on why we're charging project supervision fee. Diana asked on a case of progression, if you have units, you are exempted from the units in part 1, for instance, and part 2, you are not exempted, or part 3. What we are saying here, it's unit progression. You should be able to progress, but the units you are selecting must follow each other. You know, if you are exempted, let's say number 1, unit number 1 and number 3, and then number 2 and number 4 and the 6, you are not registered, you are not exempted, or you have not been examined and passed. You cannot select number 6 if you have not picked number 2. It's like the same way we answer online questionnaires, where you are required to answer question A before answering B. It is as simple as that. However, we are cognizant there are instances because of timetable clash. I give an example. A student with unit number 8 and 16, and then 17, 18, 19, like that she or he is supposed to book. But then you realize number 8 and 16 are happening at the same time during the exam. So in this case, it may block you. The progression rule will, number 1, the system will block you from booking units that are happening at the same time. you can't book 2 units that are happening at the same time. We have ensured that you don't get these shocks during examination sitting. You are able to know this information even when you are booking. So in such case where this kind of student will be required, if we are to implement the progression rule, it means that a student who has got unit number 8, 16, and 17 to 22 remaining will be required to undertake only unit number 8 in one sitting, then progress to the next. In such case, we'll be able from the admin end solve that case and then be able to skip that progression rule for you so that you're able to book unit 17, 18 like that and avoid the units that are happening at the same time. However, that will be done on case by case basis. And then there was a question from Wilson on exam hours.
Thank you, Alex.
Examination hours. Allow me.
I'm saying let
just to
us
clarify.
take, I was saying let us take consecutively with the hands that are up so that we can break the monotony, so that Abdul Karim speaks, then you continue with the questions that have been asked on.
All right.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. This is Abdul Karim, HS 6054. Now, my one is my concern. I'll try to be very brief. One is a concern. I must say I was part of the public participation that was done for the private candidature policy. And we were told that the fees were not going to be changed when we register as private candidates. But you know, when the portal came into being, we realized that there were some units when you did as per clusters, they were a little bit less than when you did them as individual block papers or just units. So maybe Mr. Alex can elaborate on that. Then my question now is, you talk of assigning one as a supervisor when you're a private candidate. What if somebody has a supervisor at the institutional level who is willing to supervise the project? Does the person still pay for the 15,500, or you pay now for the one that is required at the institutional level? Maybe my last question is, sometimes you talked of progression, and like now for me, I'm doing the final CHRP, part 5, 2 units, and part 6. I mean section 6 and section 5, part 3. Now I have project under 4 units, and my question was, sometimes you know it's issues of finances. Maybe you booked, like now I booked the 5 units, and before the exams or when we are nearing the payment period, you realize maybe the funds I have is less, maybe with 1 unit, and now I opt to do the rest. Now you're saying once you've submitted, it will now force me to pay for all this. So how is that going to be? And I might not be ready for maybe 1 unit in the processing list. Thank you so much.
Alex, you can answer. Abdul Karim.
Karim, first, kindly clarify on your first question. You talked of the cost of units changing, that you were told that the cost will be lower. I didn't get that clearly.
No. Actually, it was a concern. Initially, I'm doing the old CHRP. So when the private candidature policy was introduced, we raised a question like, what are the current fees going to change? Because now of the private candidature, but it was said that no, we'll just follow the fees as per the schedule, the way it was, without any changes. But when the portal came into being, when we went to register for the units now, we found that those which were in like one cluster were now being charged as individual papers. Like if somebody opted for doing one single paper, initially it was different. When you register for initial paper, it is higher than that person who is doing the same in that class. That is my concern.
Thank you for that. I'll start from progression. You mentioned that you're doing units in part 5 and part 6 and the project. Number one, you realize that the progression rule does not affect. What we have insisted is that progression is on unit basis. We are cognizant that it is not possible at this point to have our students progress on per part or per level. That is usually the practice with other examination bodies, because we recognize that you exist, so therefore we have put it at unit level. So maybe the question I'll ask here, which units do you have that you are going to undertake? And then vis-a-vis the timetable. If you look at the timetable, may I ask Abraham, if you just know the units, you can mention them quickly so that I'm able to explain and clarify for the sake of others.
Okay, I'm doing unit 18, the old curriculum, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, which is the project.
Alex? It seems Alex has a problem.
So, sorry.
Mary Ndirangu, you
excuse.
can, you can hear?
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, he has told you he's doing unit 18, 19, 20, and 21 and 22.
Yes. Now, as I mentioned, the progression here for him, it is not affected in any way. And it's good he has mentioned the units that he's undertaking. The units 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. So that one is not affected by progression because what we are saying, Abdullahim, if your decision or you are rather anticipating that you skip unit number 18 and do 19, 20, 21, 22, that is not possible because you can't skip 18, which is a lower unit. You can only skip 22 because it is the uppermost. You can only skip the uppermost unit. However, progression here does not affect your case because you realize on the examination timetable, unit number 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 do not clash. So there is no effect on that. Progression rule does not affect you. So the first thing you need to consult is the timetable. That's why we release it in advance. Number two, on the supervisor at institutional level, you see, there are three modes of study. You can study as a private candidate, an institutional candidate, or you do a blend. If you are an institutional candidate, we are not charging you supervision fee. Why will we charge you, and yet at the institution you have your supervisor? This fees is purely for private candidates. If you book as a private candidate, then the system will pick that and populate, or rather factor in, the project supervision fee if you're undertaking the project as a private candidate. For all institutional students, you shall not be required to pay project supervision fee because you are already paying project supervision fee at your institution. The last question on units changing the fees. Initially, yes, there was a waiver that if you're booking all the 3 units per part, you pay less money, but that was later changed because you look at the per unit cost of per unit, it was 4.5. So for ease of operationalizing and some of these changes and implementation of the system, we are only able to make the system seamless by ensuring that the units are charged per unit as it was reflected on it is reflected on the fee structure when it comes to per single, how much it costs per single unit. I think perhaps I've answered your questions correctly.
Okay, Alex, so we will have Otieno Onyango just
Lauren,
after.
Lauren,
yes?
Just allow me. I've remembered
Yes,
there's
yes.
something I have not clarified on his question.
Okay, you can finish on his question.
Yes.
Then Otieno Onyango, you can unmute and speak after Alex finishes.
That you book an exam and then realize you have less funds and you want to change. And that's why we have said, kindly, as a candidate, when you decide to book for exam, it's a decision that you have made. Do not submit the booking because the moment it is submitted, it is processed, then it becomes hard for you to reverse the process. You have an opportunity to assess, and remember, like now the June exam, the deadline for booking for June exam will be somewhere in let's say the first week of May. So between now February 2nd to first week of May, you have that time to decide You can initiate your booking, get to a point of invoice, but if you are not very sure of the funds, then you can assess before you submit your application. Otherwise, it will be chaos where students have submitted bookings and they want to make these changes which are not possible.
Thank you, Alex. Dr. Kiragu, after Otieno Onyango asks the question, then you can be able to tackle 5 more questions from the chat, kindly. So, Mr. Otieno Onyango, you can ask your question.
Good morning, and thank you for this time for me to raise my questions. Yes, I'll clarify that I said good morning because I'm outside the country, and where I am, it is morning. Now, I have an issue concerning the exemptions. Because the exemptions, I really will need more guidance on this, given that I have been a student of, I have a diploma in HR from a different institution. I've also undertaken a master's degree from another different institution. But then, when I want to apply for the exemptions, I find that some units, when I check the new curriculum, I find that some units may be slightly the same, or the name can be different, but maybe the content is the same. So how do we get the guidance? Because, for example, there's a unit calling itself Organization Development and Transformation. Then we have Human Resource Development on another unit. Is there a way you look at it so that we get to know before somebody applies for exemptions? Maybe you can guide us so that you don't apply for an exemption on something that basically you'll not get. My second concern is about the project. I've seen even from the charts that a response was given that the project is a must. But now I don't know if this can be done on a case-to-case basis, because in a case where I did a project in the diploma level, I'm currently working on my project again at a master's level in my MBA HR. Is it still a must that I take this project again under the CHRP curriculum? Now, and lastly, maybe it's just a consideration I would like to put across on the review of the cost of the online examination. Given the infrastructure to put in place, I find the online examinations will be a bit expensive for somebody who is, as compared to physical exams. And then again, in other online exams, I've seen all the costs are borne by the project. Okay, there was somebody else talking. Yeah, so I don't get it how it goes, because I see that it's like the entire cost has been pushed back to the student when you're taking the online exams. And with the proctoring system, I've done some other online exams. The institution provides a software that can actually proctor the exams, where in some cases there is a lock screen or something and all that. And it monitors you on all aspects that can relate to exam irregularity. I don't know how this one is, because I've seen that somebody should invest in another external camera. This one is directly to the student. Maybe if I'm answered on that, I'll stand guided. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Otieno Onyango. Alex, kindly answer the question on exemptions, then online exams. You can also answer, or Mr. Frederick Laiboni, if he's here, he can answer. But as they answer also, Mr. Laiboni, there are so many questions on the chat box about the LMS system. I think you can combine them together so that you can give the students the answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. To answer the question on exemptions, I mentioned that on the criteria. Otieno was clear that we give clarity on, the naming of the subjects so that the applicant is sure what to apply and what not to apply from. We do that. For example, organizational development and transformation that you mentioned, in other curriculums or other institutions, it is called change management or just organizational transformation. So the team, over time, since CHRP started this, offering the program, there's a lot of research and assessment of curriculums that has gone into the process. So in this case, as a student, you need not to worry. For example, business law, it is commercial law, it is business law here, it is the law of this and that. But then we are able to tell that this is a unit and this is not. For example, you gave a comparison of organizational development and transformation and HR development. For someone who has done HR, we know that HR development is quite different from, organizational transformation and development. But if my advice will be, if you are applying for exemptions and you are not very sure, we are here, the board is there, the committee that deals with the exemptions is there. Just submit even that which you are not sure. The board will be able to assess and give you feedback. And I can tell you for sure the process is very objective. And those students who qualify for exemptions, they get those exemptions. If it's declined, then it means you do not qualify. On the project, unfortunately, part 3 of the program is compulsory, so including the project, but unless the policy is reviewed to accommodate. But at this particular point, the project is compulsory. And then the last one, which I'll just invite Laiboni to do, maybe can clarify. I'm not sure if we have a software that is able to monitor your environment 360 degrees, not unless it's a camera. Laiboni.
Laiboni, kindly unmute.
Alex, thank you very much. Yes, indeed, we have a proctoring solution. We have a proctoring software, but proctoring software that we have, they utilize cameras, just like Alex was demonstrating to you in that video. For additional controls that we have, you have to have an additional camera that is banked in a very appropriate position, so that it's able to see the areas that are not covered by the front camera of your laptop or of your PC. Please note you do not have to invest in an additional camera as long as you have a smartphone with you. A smartphone, simu ya kawaida, just a smartphone, whether it's an Android, whether it's an iPhone, and so on and so forth, that has got a front camera, then you will be able to use that as a secondary camera. You don't have to go and buy a streaming camera and so on and so forth. In fact, I was just requesting for, I was trying to reach a friend of mine that did online exams in the last sitting, that did online examinations, and I don't know, I would want to show you exactly if Lorraine would allow that I just demonstrate that for avoidance of doubt on how this is going to run. How
Mr.
the camera is
Laiboni,
actually, yes.
We will have some sessions on online exams. I think that will be a very good session of showing the students how to go about it, because they had requested, most of them on the chat box had requested that they are on work and we've taken too long. Kindly, let's just finish on their questions. Then we will set up, all those who are interested in online exams, we will set up a webinar just for online exams, and you can take them through that extensively. So Dr. Kiragu can pick some questions from the chat box kindly, like and give short answers so that we keep time, about 5 or 6, and answer the students. Then Laiboni, kindly, there are so many questions on the chat box about the LMS. Also pick them. We have 3 other students who have raised their hands. So what we will do is Dr. Kiragu will go first, then we have a student ask, then Laiboni, you'll come after Dr. Kiragu. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Thank you. I will take the shortest time possible. And what I'm picking from the chart is, for us taking a project, once we pay the institution fee, are we still going to pay the 15,500 at HRMPEB? Now, the 15,500 fee that we have talked about is strictly for the private candidates who are taking research projects. So it means that the institutional candidates, they are not paying for this 15,500 because it is assumed that there will be given supervisors by their training institutions. Then, what if I have my own reading materials? Is it a must to pay for the material? Then the answer is yes, it's a must to pay the materials, because the reason why we are charging for these materials and to all the candidates is it is quite expensive to develop these learning guides and also these revision materials, and also to come up with these formative assessments. And therefore, we distributed the cost to all the candidates. Then, how soon will the private candidates be assigned the lecturers for the industrial-based projects? Number one, I clarify that they are not lecturers because we are not a training institution. We are an examination body. We are calling them supervisors. And within a week of booking your unit, the research-based project, then you'll be able to get a project supervisor. Then another person asked, if I'm researching for a paper, is it a must I do formative assessment? I think the question was trying to ask that for those who are taking research-based industrial research projects, whether they will be doing the formative assessment. And the answer is, when you are taking the research projects, then you do not need to do the formative assessment. Because that one will be continuous and it will be taken care of, because there is the presentation of the topic. Then from there will be the defense of the research proposal. And then again, finally, there will be a defense for the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that one will be construed as the formative assessment for that research-based project. Then I think maybe one last one. As a private candidate, can I book for exams 2 weeks to exam time? At what time will I attempt the summative assessment? Now, because of formative assessments, then it means that you have to really book the exam in good time. And what we are trying to do is to avoid students where now they go to book for exams 2 weeks to the closure or 2 weeks to the summative assessment. Because now we are giving you this credible certificate as we have been mandated by the government. We don't want just to be an institution where you are coming and sitting for the summative exam and then you get a certificate. It's also good to work with you to see how you are studying. And that is why our senior ICT officer, Frederick Laiboni, has taken you through how you are going to do those formative assessments. I think, thank you for now, Lorena Seka. I don't want to take much time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Kiragu. Kindly let's give Mary Ndirangu and Lynette Nunda unmute and speak. Then Laiboni, you'll speak after them. Just the two, because they've been raising their hands up high for a long time. Mary and Lynette.
Okay. Good afternoon. My question was kindly revisit the exam administration fee for private candidates and the project fee.
Good afternoon. My name is Lynette Nunda. I just want to find out if
Lynette,
somebody has
kindly.
Yes.
We
I'm
can't
the one
hear you.
speaking
Can
now.
you be loud a bit?
I'm loud. Okay, can you hear me now?
You just a bit louder because your microphone is a bit down. Alex, you'll take the two questions for Mary and Lynette.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. My question is, if someone has registered as a private candidate, can they revert back to the institution if the student hasn't paid for the private candidature? Can they go into an institution and pay the fees instead of registering as a private candidate? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Alex, kindly answer the questions from Mary Ndirangu on the supervision, on moving from private to institutional. Then Mary, what did you ask?
Oh, I asked revisit the administration fee, the exam administration fee for private candidate and the project fee.
Okay. Alex, the two questions, kindly.
Allow me to respond on, before I respond to Mary and Lynette, also to add on what Dr. Kiragu clarified on the question. Aaron Ekuwom, kindly mute your mic. Admin, please mute him.
We have
Thank
muted.
you. So the question was, must I pay the curriculum support materials or administration fee if I can study on my, and I have materials? You realize the surveys we have done, and even during the November examinations, for those students who booked for private candidate exam, a good number of them, what they were asking is that where are the materials? And they are willing, even at a cost, to have access to the materials. And also for standardization purposes. As an institution, we can't administer an exam, a curriculum, and we are not able to support our students. So the idea that you study on your own, the question is, yes, there may be materials on HR. We are in the age of the internet, but you must have the curriculum support guides. What exactly are you studying? And that's why we have dedicated the time and the resources to develop curriculum guides. It's study guides. It's called study guides, revision kits, come up with formative assessments, and all these have got a cost implication. And then it is very difficult now to start attending to outliers, those who say, maybe I can study on myself, I can find the resources on my own. We understand, yes, but majority of the students, what they're asking for is the materials. And remember, what we are doing, we are not only examining our programs locally, we have gone global. We are now accredited. We institutions offering examinations in Rwanda, and all these materials are required. So therefore, for standardization and for quality assurance purposes, the material is a must, and there is a small fee to pay to that. And then on examination, whether one can book exam 2 weeks to time. It's a question about the board will communicate the timelines for examination booking. So it is within, you will book exam within those the provided examination booking timelines. And why we insist that the exam has to be booked at least a month because so that we are able, you will understand that the examination administration process is the tedious activity that requires a lot of planning. So therefore, we can't allow a week or 2 weeks to exam booking because there is a lot that goes before we bring the examination onto your desk or your computer. The question on Mary, whether we can review the fees, that the private candidate fees are higher, I can tell you it is not. Before these decisions were made, we did a lot of research, and I can tell you for sure that the fees that has been given there, it's accommodative and also able to meet our requirements for us to give you a value for money. Actually, you as a student, you have the capacity and it's at your disposal to do comparisons and also find out whether is it expensive or not. But the average cost per unit for institutional candidates, which again, we also encourage students to register as institutional candidates, private candidates, whichever mode that suits you. However, for those institutional candidates, they can tell you that the average tuition cost per unit is about 10,000 shillings. And then lastly, on Lynette question, if you have registered as a private candidate and then you want to revert to go back to institutional, examination booking process, and this we insist that before you book, kindly ensure that you have made the decision, either you are institutional, private, or you are doing blend. For example, institutional students are already in class since January. They have paid tuition fees. And for private candidates wishing to enroll at training institutions, I understand there are also timelines within which you are supposed to enroll with the training institution to enroll and take classes. So therefore, by the time you are booking, no one have booked, submitted, and your booking has been processed and you have a timetable, then you are able to make these changes. Remember, a booking is only successful if it has been processed and you are able to access your examination timetable or seating authority. So unless that has been done, then you are at liberty to edit your application and proceed to class. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Please, we will not take more questions. We will not take more questions because the time is up. It is over lunchtime. We started at 10. It is almost 1. Those are more than 3 hours. We've been keeping our stakeholders here and we've had very good numbers. So I kindly request that Laiboni can finish just 2 minutes, Laiboni, on the LMS so that we will have a session fully on the LMS. But there are so many questions that have been asked about the LMS. So for Lucy, George, and Diana, kindly put your questions on the chat box. We will be able to answer you on the email. Laiboni, you can take all those questions at once, but just put it for 3 minutes. And Beatrice, kindly be ready to close the session with the closing remarks and also pray for us as we finish, because we've been keeping our stakeholders for the last 3 hours and it's just fair that we end the session. Laiboni, kindly.
Thank you. I will just very briefly go through some of the questions that have been asked in relation to the learning management system, and some of them actually have been answered. First, formative assessment is applicable for all candidates, whether you are institution-based or whether you are a private candidate. And this formative assessment, the schedule will be shared when it will be done. Then how do we get login credentials to this candidate support system? Once you register, or when you register, within the same day after you have booked for your examinations, you will be able to get your login credentials, and the subjects that you have enrolled to will also be loaded in the learning management system. When is a formative quiz starting? Then now someone was asking if about the platform, whether you can access it on phone. Yes, it's very mobile friendly. You can be able to access it using your mobile phone, even if you do not have a laptop. The portal is different from the one you're using. Yeah, this is a new system that we're setting up. It's a learning management system. Also, we have a student portal that is used for now management of students' matters. The one that you use to access administrative matters, basically, and examinations matters. That's a different portal. This other one that we're setting up is purely to support you as you prepare for your examinations.
Laiboni, the last please tackle the last question. It's past one.
How soon can we access the platform? I've answered that. Then there's something I wanted to clarify about the costing of and the cost of accessing this private candidature vis-a-vis the candidate support resources and the online the formative assessment. Please note that the fee that is being charged is majorly going towards supporting the formative assessment component of the learning within the learning management system and within the candidate support and other candidate support resource materials. These materials have got to be subjected through very intensive and very expensive process of development and improvement. Please take note that also the formative assessments, they have to be graded. There is someone that will have to grade those formative assessments, and also they have to be processed so that they can form part of what you are processed for as you become a CHRP. This process of quality assurance, it is a cost item, and this cost item also has got to be managed. Thus, the small cost that is applied per subject to access the candidate support resources. Also, there are those people who will be able to use this almost exclusively to prepare for the examinations, because we know that the content that we load here is content that is able to guide you through to meet the outcomes that are required for you to set for to be set for an examination. So as you relate with our content, as you interact with it, you are given access to further resources that are able to enhance your preparedness and also your competence as you practice HR as a CHRP candidate. The rest of the questions, please allow me to be able to handle them in the very near future when we will invite you specifically to discuss and to unveil the online candidate support resource center. That is now, that is what I've been presenting today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laiboni, for that. For our students, you can reach us on those platforms that I've put on the link. We have the Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Kindly, you can click on the link and follow us, like, and share our pages. At this juncture, I want to welcome Beatrice to be able to give us a short closing remarks as we pray.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of HRMP, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the students and stakeholders present here today. Your presence and active participation have been integral in the success of this meeting. I would also like to express my gratitude to the organizing team for this meeting, that's the CC team, for this planning and seamless coordination. Once again, I want to thank you all for this time, and we welcome you again in our next meeting. Thank you. And let me just invite one of the participants to close with a word of prayer. Any volunteer?
I can volunteer.
Yes, Sophie.
Yes,
Right.
Pamela.
Yes,
Pamela,
I can pray.
you
Yes,
can
I can
pray.
pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we say thank you for giving us an opportunity, Lord, as CHRP students, Jehovah Master, to have this online Lord of Glory webinar program. Jehovah, that we give you glory, that we give you honor. I know there are many rules, many procedures that have been kept in place, but Jehovah, we pray, allow us to decrease, our Lord, and increase in us. Help us, Lord, to follow them to the latter in the name of Jesus. I will give you glory as we proceed with our studies, as we proceed, Lord, with our preparations. Please just go before us and make all the crooked paths to be straight. We pray for our examiners, we pray for our supervisors, we pray for our leaders, Lord, as they are guiding us, Jehovah Master, in the way of becoming a professional CHRP students, Lord. How we pray, just go before them and lead them and continue to give them wisdom that comes from you. We give you glory, we give you honor. As we go to our different destinations, be our God, be our shield. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much to our students. Let us not forget the exams will be on 12th June 2024 to 19th June 2024. The exams will be booked on the student portal, so you have to go and book exams by yourselves. Thank you so much, and we appreciate for making time for us. Thank you, and you can log off. The meeting is off. We will let you know when the next meeting will be on. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you.
too, yeah.
Have a wonderful afternoon.
Mop. Mwambie Mpesa amechukua yangu.